One side wants Kim Foxx to resign for dropping the charges. The other supports her decision. Both sides clashing in dueling protests downtown today. WGN's Tanya Francisco joining us now with more. Tanya.
Yeah, it was quite the scene, you guys, this afternoon. The protest revisited the bitter divisions in the city when it comes to the black community and policing. It was a tense, chaotic scene. As opponents and supporters of Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx squared off during a protest organized by the Fraternal Order of Police in front of Fox's downtown office.
We're upset that the prosecution in this county is not being forceful enough.
We want freedom, freedom, all you racist cops.
Counter-protesters set up across the street in Daly Plaza, calling the FOP hypocrites.
The FOP has protected killer cops. They have been some of the loudest opponents to criminal justice reform, not only on the local level, but on the state level.
At the heart of the debate, the decision to drop all charges against openly gay actor Jussie Smollett, who claimed back in January he was attacked by two men who shouted racist and homophobic slurs. During the investigation, it was revealed Foxx had contact with Smollett's family, leading her to recuse herself from the case, only to have her office drop all charges against Smollett. It's a decision that has ignited passions across the city.
You're only mad about the black guy getting off, right?
Well, what about
the gay black man? But
I'm mad that they dropped everything and they sealed the record. We have the right to know what happened.
The FOP claims Fox's office has been soft on criminals, which is counter to the work its members are doing.
We only have to go back a few weeks to know that somebody whose charges were reduced was out on the street and then shot an off-duty police officer. We have to make sure that justice is being followed all the time.
Community activists say Foxx is holding to her promise of reforming the state's attorney's office, and they say the attacks against her are a racist political witch hunt.
Since her election, Kim has worked to release people who have been wrongly convicted by the same corrupt leadership of the Chicago Police Department that is now attacking her.
Disagree with her if you want, but take your damn hands off her. Change is going to come whether you want it or not.
The name of Laquan McDonald, the young man who was killed by police officer Jason Van Dyke, was invoked several times by those supporting Kim Foxx. The FOP maintains the protest was about accountability when people commit crimes. The one thing both sides agree on, guys, is they want justice with consistency.
Thank you, Tanya.
Listen, when I tell you the jokes practically write themselves, I mean just that. I saw Willie D talk about this yesterday on his channel, and as he was going through his commentary, I'm like sitting back just like damn near rolling my eyes to the point where I would look possessed just listening to not to what his commentary, what he was saying or him personally, but just the commentary itself as far as the topic matter as what I'm talking about right now. That's why I said the jokes write themselves. Here you have the Fraternal Order of Police, the FOP, out in Chicago, who has, like I've said plenty of times, and Harvey said it too, Chicago PD, amongst many other police departments around the establishment, is one of the most corrupt police departments in the establishment known as the United States of America. Their cover-up crimes go back decades. Of course, the most infamous one right now that we know of that's more recent, of course, is Laquan McDonald and how they managed to cover up, or try to give cover to that entire situation. Rahm Emanuel, who, to my knowledge, has officially stepped down as mayor, or he has resigned or whatever, should have been out of there, to be honest, a long time ago, held on to that tape, that surveillance of him being shot and killed by Jason Van Dyke for over a year. Can you imagine being his family and not being able to see that? Not that I would say they're in any rush to watch something like that, but you get what I mean. But he held on to that for over a year to protect Jason Van Dyke and anyone else that was involved with that situation. The Chicago PD, I have no doubt in my mind, are also involved with the so-called mass amount of shootings that happen on holiday weekends that they like to disguise as black on black crime. Because think about it. They have all these individuals get shot and killed, yet we don't see one body, we don't see one witness, we don't get a suspect. How is it that the suspect constantly gets away when there's a mass shooting that happens? Now, if someone does get killed by the gun in Chicago and they do catch them, notice that it's never one of those immaculate mass shootings that they love to parade in front of people's faces all the time. It's usually a isolated incident. Now, what's interesting is that whenever there's a shooting, a mass shooting that involves white people, like a school shooting, they can catch them. Now, why is it that they can't catch the black person that they're looking for in Chicago when it comes to those so-called mass shootings? I'll tell you why. Because it's not a black person that's doing it. It's most likely one of them in their department that's doing it, and they're orchestrating these crimes. Excuse me. And I noticed that you really haven't heard that much about those kinds of shootings, so-called shootings, in the last, I don't know how many months to a year. You almost to the point where if you have to find out something about that, you got to actually go and physically go online and dig that up. Like you would have to go into the Google search engine and type in something like Chicago shootings. And then a whole bunch of stuff would just come up, and it never makes the news, not like it used to. That's something I've noticed. I barely hear people say Chirac anymore. I tell you, because that stuff was orchestrated. And nobody can tell me any different. I said, is it not? I had to try to tell people, I said, is that not making any sense to you? They have all these shootings, but they can't catch one person. But anyway, I just wanted to put that out there, but I went on a little tangent. But back to this. These individuals are so transparent. I always say that because they are. I can see right through them every single time they do something like this. This almost reminds me of when Peter Liang killed Akai Gurley, and he was getting ready to be sentenced. And you had the entire, what it looked like the entire Asian community. And I've never seen that many Asians before. And these were various individuals who descend from different parts of Asia, the continent of Asia. Not just one country, not just China, Japan, or Korea, North or South, and so on and so forth, who came out in support of this man who killed a black man. And that was the day that black people should have waken up to the fact that Asians do not have your back. Like they came and rallied together to give support to a killer cop who killed a black man, murdered him in a stairwell, when he was told not to go inside and engage. And he went in anyway and ended up killing him. And then you had that coon, now deceased attorney who was looking to get reelected, ended up having the charges against him dropped. And they were getting ready to sentence Akai Gurley. I mean, not Akai Gurley, Peter Liang. Like they had it ready. The jury said he was guilty. The judge was ready to go with it. And then he came back and said, you know what? We need to drop all the charges. And it was like, whoa, where did this come from? And the judge even was shocked. The judge was like, are you sure? Because we are ready to sentence him. Like the case has already been built. There's nothing there that says that he's innocent. But he only worried about his bottom line. And ironically, karma came quick for his ass because he ended up dying a few months later from some terminal illness before he could even have a chance to get reelected. So someone else had to take his damn spot. Good for his ass. I forgot his name, but at this point it doesn't even matter. And now you don't even hear about Peter Liang anymore. It's like he just faded into obscurity. But that kind of reminds me of this, and the reason why I say that is because they only have come out because Jussie Smollett ended up having the charges against him dropped. And they are upset about that. Now, had this been a white person like this, they probably wouldn't have been upset. If this is a white cop, I'll put it like that, they would not have been mad. Let's be real here. They exposed themselves. Because you got to think, he said that these guys had said that they yelled gay homophobic slurs and racial slurs towards him, and they were Trump supporters. I'm willing to bet the majority of them out there holding signs like that, back the blue, are Trump supporters. They are just mad because their feelings is hurt. That's all that is. They operate on a very high emotional plane, much like their quote unquote leader, and I use that term loosely when it comes to talking about 45. That's why I say it's laughable to me. Like, this is what they choose to protest, but they're not going to protest against their own. They're not going to do that. Even though they should, but they're not. They said they just want justice and they want consistency. What they want is to keep the consistency of corruption going on, and Jussie Smollett having those charges, those 16 indictment charges dropped against him, throws a wrench in their so-called consistency. That wasn't supposed to happen. He wasn't supposed to break through or break free of their corruption, and he did. That's why they are now. They're also, if y'all didn't hear, they're trying to call to get his documents unsealed. Yeah, that's the most recent development outside of what I'm talking to you about right now. They want his documents, his records unsealed that have been sealed since those charges got dropped. That was one of the things that they said they wanted to be sealed, but they want that unsealed. But hopefully they don't budge and unseal them, or hopefully a judge does not put a request in to have that happen. It's a done deal. And you know how they like to tell us to get over it? They need to get over it. And they're mad at Kim Foxx. I have my issues with Kim Foxx, but guess what? Kim Foxx was not the only person who was involved with this shit. You better look at Rahm Emanuel and Eddie Johnson. Those three right there. Especially Rahm Emanuel. Because they mishandled this entire situation. If they handled this the right way, it's a very good possibility Jussie Smollett will probably still be on trial right now. But they got sloppy and they did a botched job with this. Because they were all rushing, and like Harvey said, they were arrogant. They got cocky. But they're going after Kim Foxx because, she's the black face. And then Kim Foxx put herself in an even worse position by attaching herself to the R. Kelly thing. And what do you think R. Kelly's attorneys and lawyers are going to do looking at this situation with Kim Foxx and Michael Avenatti? They're going to use that to their advantage. So don't be surprised if R. Kelly walks away from this. And then the finger will point again back at Kim Foxx. So I can see why Harvey said Kim Foxx, this is her karma. And Michael Avenatti, his silly ass is up on Twitter. I forgot what he had said. He had made some tweet. I had retweeted and gave him a response to it because it was so dumb. It was something about R. Kelly, and the people went in on his mentions. They went the fuck in, and rightfully so. We Michael Avenatti, you have a lot of shit going on in your life right now. R. Kelly is the least of your worries. You got these wire tap frauds and bank frauds and all the thing with Nike. R. Kelly should not even be on your radar. He never should have been, honestly. But we know why you attached yourself to it. Because you were trying to cover yourself. Nice try, but we saw what you were doing. But yeah, them protesting, this whole back the blue thing, whatever. They just upset because a person who does not look like them managed to beat them or find a way to beat them at their own game. And what they're really scared of is that eventually, hopefully, more of us can do the same thing. Not put ourselves in the position that Jussie did. Not put ourselves like that, incriminate ourselves. But if something like this was to arise, that we can actually have something work to our advantage. Because, see, the system wasn't made for us to walk away from situations like this. It was made for us to get caught up in it, even if we are innocent. It's always say innocent to proven guilty, but with us, it's the opposite. Guilty until possibly proven innocent. Maybe. Just a small inkling. But like I said, all I can do is just laugh at this. It's fun. This right here, this display that you're seeing right here, that's funny. That's laughable to me. Because they have all this damn energy to do this, but when it comes to the killing of unarmed people, especially those who look like us, crickets. They'll be on the side of the cop, and then they'll make it seem like the victim was the one who was the suspect and get mad at you for supporting the victim. And it was one guy, I remember hearing in the clip, he said, you're only mad because Jussie Smollett is black and he's a gay man. And that guy he was protesting against was trying to dance around the fact that, let's be real here, that's the real reason. That is the real reason as to why. If Jussie Smollett was a white gay man, they probably wouldn't have said much about it. But then again, we will never know. But that's really all I have to say about this. Y'all let me know what you think down in the comments, and I will talk to you in the next one.